Good morning, readers. You've been working with Miss Anderson yesterday on thinking about our text mascot. And today we're going to look at some of the author's choices and author's point of view, author's perspective. All right, so as we begin this, I have to tell you this story because we were out shopping for Halloween decorations. And it makes me think of perspective because of this one little scenario where this super cute, super adorable family came strolling by and they had maybe a 2-year-old little girl in the cart and then they had like a 4-year-old little girl in the cart. And standing around us are all of these neat lawn decorations and animatronic things going on. And the mom pulls the girls over to one of the animated, like he's like an animated grave digger guy, right? And the mom's like, "Oh, he is so cool." And then you can see this little girl with her cute little pigtails. And she looks up and she freaks out. She starts screaming, like her fists are clenched. She's red in the face. Like they totally have a different perspective on this cool animated gravedigger guy. The mom thinks he's the coolest thing ever. The little girl thinks he is the absolute most terrifying thing she may have ever seen in her life. So there's a reason why we have different perspectives on things, and our characters do too. That's why I'm telling you this story, because this little girl has probably never seen anything like this. She's seen, rainbows and sunshine cartoons up till now, and her books are probably very not spooky at all. But then the mom has lived through several Halloweens, and this is a kind of animated gravedigger guy that, we haven't seen really in stores that much. And for it to be in Home Depot, that means like it's coming mainstream, right? So as she's evolved, this is kind of a cool new thing. To our little girl, it's absolutely terrifying. So our characters in our books are very similar. So Miss Anderson was talking to you guys yesterday about a situation between Double Wide and Noah. And in this chapter 1 of Mascot, there's this point where Double Wide says, "Hey, you're in a wheelchair." And Noah responds back saying, or "You're so observant." And then Double Wide's like, "You think I can get one?" And and it's just kind of funny because Double Wide's like, "Why are you in a wheelchair?" And Noah responds, "Because I'm too lazy to walk." Like he's such a snarky little character. So now, as readers, our job is to think about, well, why is the author writing from this point of view? So I have a great strategy to share with you. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay, so our strategy that is going to help us out with this is one that simply breaks it down into 3 steps, okay? So analyzing point of view or perspective, the way our characters view people and events in the passage. So on this cute little chart, we have when a character has a different perspective from others around him. So one guy says, "Yay, a boat." And then the guy on the boat says, "Oh, land." So very much like the mom and the daughter in the story or Sunday night. All right. So then thinking about this, as readers, we have to pause when we notice that there's a different perspective. So in our chapter 1, Double Wide thinks the wheelchair is like the coolest thing ever, and Noah thinks it's the most traumatic event ever. So we have to think, well, how is this character's perspective different from others around them? What does this reveal about that character? And then finally, we really have to ask ourselves why the author chose to write from that point of view. So thinking about this, I kind of typed out my own responses so that you would have an example for when you're using this in your book today. So that first one, how is the character's perspective different from others? Well, Double Wide sees things differently because he doesn't know the before the accident Noah and thinks it's super cool that he has a wheelchair and doesn't have to walk anywhere. But Noah thinks being in a wheelchair is a total life-changing event for him and the worst thing ever. Okay, so that's thinking about how the character's perspective is different. So looking at that step 2. I notice that their perspectives are different. So now I have to think deeply about, well, why does this matter? How are their perspectives different? All right, so then step 3 says, ask, well, what does this reveal about him? So I got to thinking about this really reveals things about double wide and Noah. So for double wide, I put his perspective reveals that double wide is optimistic because he doesn't view Noah being in a wheelchair as a disability. He views it as a better way to get from one place to another. And then Noah, what does this reveal about him? Well, his perspective reveals that Noah is snarky because he deflects the questions from others regarding his disability and he continues to make up really funny false answers. Okay. And then finally, I think the author chose to write from Noah's point of view because it allows the reader to see the world of someone who was born with the use of his entire body, then had a life-changing event occur, which can happen to anyone. Anthony John chose to write from Noah's point of view, though, so we could hear the inner thinking and know there is a softer side to this snarky boy. All right, so this is the work that you're going to be doing with your books today, readers. So thinking about when you notice that your book characters are having two different perspectives, pause and think about, well, what does this reveal about this character? And then think about overall, when you're done reading today, when you've reached like 20 minutes or near the end of Reader's Workshop today, make sure you pause and think about, well, why did the author choose to write from this character's perspective? And that's the work that you're going to be doing today. So in your reader's notebook, be working on these questions. I do have a version for you guys that I will make sure I get out to your teachers. And my kiddos, you'll have it from me. If for some reason, my kiddos, you can't get the PDF document, there's something going on with my Canvas, and I can drop it in our Microsoft Teams class meeting as I did last week. So you are going to be responding to those questions. You may screenshot them or submit in Canvas, but do make sure that you screenshot your work and get it into your reader's notebook. All right, so readers, happy reading today.